Well, Rocco, I think it's about time we go out, right? What are we going to talk about today? No plan, really? Hey, we could talk about a plan or not having a plan. All right, let's give it a shot. Wait. Let's go. Rocco, you're already pulling, buddy. No. Let's get it, man. Right here. That's it. You can't pull even when we're within, let's go, inches. Wait. Let's go. My pace. Nope, my pace. All right, come around. Oh yeah. I'm commentating, but he has no idea what I'm saying. Other than no. Rock, sit. Ready? Wait. Let's go. Good job. Okay, buddy. Spare my ears, Rocko boy. That is kind of loud, man. It's kind of interesting, or maybe just an observation, that on the way to the park, he loves to ride in the car. He gets so excited. I'm not a dog trainer or a dog psychologist or whatever those things are. I don't really know what he's thinking, but I feel like he gets so excited when he knows we're going somewhere. When we're gearing up at home, oh my gosh, he senses we're not just going for a walk around the neighborhood. We're going to get in the car and go somewhere. But yesterday after the park, coming back home, super quiet. Maybe he's worn out, maybe he's tired or knows we're going back home. But on the way to the park, yeah, all these exciting barks, huh? All this sort of higher pitched barking. Well, interesting, but gosh, kind of blows out my ears. I am going to have to start putting those ear plugs in more often when I remember to bring those. Got to have that as part of the plan. Yeah, a plan. Sometimes no plan is the greatest thing. Just winging it, living life ad lib or in the moment, which we all should be doing anyway, right? But other times you got to have a plan. So we're going to talk about plans or lack thereof. All right. Right? That's a plan. That's a plan in and of itself, right, Rocko boy? Ha ha. What do they say about the best laid plans? I know there's some phrase that escapes me right now. We have no plan today. We're just at the park. Yeah. He was excited to come out, and man, it is a gorgeous day. But it's only like 10:30 in the morning, and I just checked the phone, that little weather app. 83 degrees, feels like 89 at 10:30 in the morning. Whew. So that's gonna be warm, but I'll take the warmth over the cold. Yeah, and so really no plan today. We're just gonna stroll the park, kind of getting used to this park thing. We're liking it. I know Boy likes it. Man, Boy likes it, right, Rocko? Doesn't Boy like this? He likes it. Hey, we got our poop in early today, so we weren't like all the way in the back of the park where there are no garbage cans, having to come all the way back just to get rid of the garbage cans. So that is better today. All right. And at this hour, not too crowded, because I think for most people it's too hot, but we kind of like it. Yeah, still recovering from a couple-hour tennis match yesterday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That felt pretty good, though. Yeah, I grew up in St. Petersburg, so I like the heat, as opposed to cold. The only time I like cold weather is when I am snow skiing, when you're doing something that you need some snow, and it's cold. And it always feels not as cold. Cold weather in Florida feels colder for some reason than when I'm in Colorado, say, during ski season. I don't feel that cold. I guess maybe because you have the proper gear. I don't know. Maybe a meteorologist could explain that to me at some point. All right, so I mentioned before, we kind of have no plan for this walk. We didn't really have a plan for anything in particular to talk about today. So we're going to talk about maybe doing a plan, what is that we always read? The average American spends more time planning their 2-week vacation than they do their financial lives. Guilty as charged, officer. Yeah, I do that too. And I work in financial services. Just vacation and imagining all the cool things you'll be doing is way more exciting than putting together a financial plan. Come on, admit it. Yeah. I like money, I like financial services, but I like vacations a lot better. I like going places. And I bet you do too. But it doesn't have to be a complicated plan either. It can just be a one-pager, as our industry has kind of moved to, doing a one-page plan, as opposed to like the old days. I remember those, when you would meet with a client, gather all their data, and then they'd go away for a few weeks. Sometimes it would stretch out even longer, depending if you still needed data from them or statements from them, those kinds of things. And then you would build this tome, this huge phone book, this 4-inch thick financial plan, dated, with all the documents on every part of one's financial life, from cash flow planning to estate planning to investment planning. Everything you can think of that would go in a plan, it went in this thing. And then you would have a follow-up plan presentation appointment. And as soon as you presented it, well, even before then, the plan was already outdated. So, like, what good is that? It was the size of a phone book. Are phone books even a thing anymore? I feel, well, it's probably been at least 5 years, probably longer. They used to still drop them off in the driveway. Not sure why, but I guess they could still sell ads in phone books at that point. I don't think that's happening anymore because I don't get any phone books in the driveway anymore. Right, Rocko? Who needs a phone book, right? When you can just pull everything up on your phone. Or ask Siri, hey, what's the number to Joe's Pizza Joint? So that plan was already outdated as soon as you bring it to somebody. But now, with all the software and apps, boy, it is a dynamic plan. You can present like a one-page bullet point plan, but in most cases, you can just sit with your client on a Zoom call, share the screens, and show them exactly what's happening, because they've already connected their accounts, their investment accounts, and any other accounts that are relevant. So the latest balances are in the plan, and you can run all kinds of scenarios live, right on the fly, and give way better information than we could in the old days. So that's the way to do. Dynamic plan on the fly. Kind of like you're making your vacation plans, pulling up TripAdvisor or Orbitz, or who's that? The Trivago guy. Yeah, I haven't seen the Trivago guy except the guy now with the really big white teeth. That guy, that Trivago guy and his buddies. Well, anyway, there was that really cool guy, Trivago guy, a few years back. But yeah, now I'm dating myself. So anyway, oh yeah, doing your vacation. Rocko, hang on, buddy. Let's stay in the shade for a minute. Sit, bud. Yeah, it's doing your vacation planning on the fly. But now we can do financial planning plans on the fly. So some kind of a plan is better than no plan, but it doesn't have to be a complicated plan. And an updated plan is even better than a 6-month-old phone book looking kind of a plan, because that was outdated the moment you got it. And then you can even go in and check your own plan whenever you want, because it's being updated on the fly too, with the new balances, with the new info. Yeah, everything is just so much better these days. Rocko, come back, buddy boy. All right, heel, sit. See, I gotta have a plan for this guy. A plan to train, right? I dropped the ball there for a while, but we're getting back into it now. Doesn't mean we have to stick to the plan every single day and be rigid in that. We can be flexible. We can make changes as our lives change, and they certainly have. But right now, Rocko, what are you doing, man? Should we take a water break? All right, let's do a little water break in here. So we'll put this thing down, put that over here, and. All right, let's go right here, Rocko, for a sec. Let's see if this thing, Rocko, that's too much pull, buddy boy. Over here. Right here, man. Let's do a little water thing here. Rocko, here. Hey, come here, bud. Sit. Let's get some water going, man. All right, ready? Yeah, see, this isn't like a designated water spot. Rocko, now you got us tangled up, man. But on the fly, we decided, water break, why not? And actually, this is like a little corner of the park, close to one of the main roads. Well, it's not that big of a park, but we haven't come back here before. Kind of a nice little hangout, right, Rocko? All right, so planning on the fly and being ready to change plan. You can change the plan, it's not set in stone. You can update it as needed. Just like, aren't some of the best times when you're on vacation when you don't really have a plan for that day? You're just like, okay, we're in a new town or a new country and you don't know what the plan is for the day. You're not part of one of those group tours where they have a schedule, or even if they do, you don't have to stick by that, go do your own thing. And those days can turn into the best days, the best memories when there was no plan. You just go exploring. All right, no plan is sometimes the best plan. All right, Rocko, we'll get going again, big man. Woohoo! All right. Hey, buddy, you still can't extend the leash, man. You can't pull it taut and stretch my arm out, man. You gotta kind of hang with me, buddy boy, okay? Gotta stay close. I'll give you a little loose leash, but don't pull. If you get to the end, man, I gotta pull you back, dude. All right, here we go. Rocko, come on, man. And we're not going back yet. We just got here, pal. We're gonna make you put in a little work, a little discipline. Can you imagine if you just had the in-the-moment attitude of a dog? He doesn't, well, I don't know. I'm just imagining. I don't know what's really in the dog's mind, but gosh, if his plans change, he doesn't care. He's going wherever I go, whether he wants to or not. All right, Rocko, let's cut across here. All right, so we're going to take it across the grassy area and head over to the big fields. We'll complete our little lap, our loop around the grass fields, maybe go around the little pond with the fountain. Yeah, I wonder if anybody throws coins in this fountain for a wish. I don't think most people even know this fountain's out here. This park is fairly new, and it's kind of way in the back of the park, where I don't think that many people walk back here. They stay up close to the basketball court, the sheltered areas, the pickleball courts, and the dog parks, the actual dog park where you have fenced in areas for small dogs, fenced in areas for big dogs, and let them play with each other. Yeah, we probably could have attempted more of that back when you were a youngster, Rocko, but we'll make up time. We'll do it. See, didn't have a plan, or I had a plan, I dropped the plan, and then trying to pick it back up again. I'll tell you more about that and how we evolved or arrived at this particular journey or this particular destination in our journey, or it's not even a destination. The journey is the destination, or the destination is the journey, the process. Gotta love the process. Now, how we arrived at this particular point in training the boy, right? Got to do the reps every day, get the reps in. Tom Brady, right? Doesn't matter how old you are or how good you are, you still need to stay sharp. And that means doing the reps, right, baby? Got to get the reps in. All right, just like in tennis. Wimbledon going on, yeah. So good stuff. How about that Serena? Wow. Coming back 4 years later from her last match, and although she lost, I think by most analyses, analysts, commentators, they would say, not too bad for not really having played tournament level matches. So that just shows you, as good as she is, or at least was, you can't just walk out and expect to be world class or at the top of your game if you're not putting in the time on the court. And there is a huge difference between time on a practice court versus time on a match court. Feels totally different. All right, we got a poop break going here. All right, it's a double shot of Poop Man Shoe today. So we got to poop close to the garbage cans, which is ideal, but hey, when you got to go and you're a doggy, you just got to go, man. And fortunately, in my little treat pouch, I do have a little spot where I can carry around a plastic bag of Poop Man Shoe. Or is it Poop Dog Shoe? As long as you don't get the Poop Man on your shoe. All right, Rocko boy. Sniff every blade if you must. Yeah, double shot of Poop Man Shoe today. Which reminds me of the old listening to rock and roll stations back in the day. And the announcer would say, hey, we got a double shot of Bon Jovi coming up. Double shot? Oh, you mean you're just gonna play back-to-back Bon Jovi songs? Or a double shot of Tom Petty. Or we got a block party weekend with a block. Every artist has a block of songs, 4 or 5 songs from Tom Petty or the Eagles, or who else? The Doobie Brothers. Michael McDonald, still going strong now, singing the chorus on Keith Urban's new album. Keith stepping out from country and covering yacht rock. How cool is that? Every song you will know, of course. And then they've got a new one on there that I can't get out of my head that he duets. Well, maybe it's a duet. I guess they're both singing in there. Yeah, a duet. Okay. But Michael McDonald is singing backup. Well, not actually backup. He's singing lead on the chorus. It's pretty cool. So check it out. Yacht rock, baby. All right. We're yacht rocking financial plans, baby. Putting them together like they crafted music from the late 70s and early 80s. Yeah, maybe. See, I did read a thing the other day talking about yacht rock. Most of us think of it as wearing your captain's hat and get your margarita or daiquiri and sit on your boat. But this person, this author, was saying, no, yacht rock, that's not really where it derived from. It's really from that era of music where bands like Toto and all those good bands from back in the day, they were masterfully crafted with layers and layers of production like you would put together a yacht, and thus yacht rock, well-crafted rock and roll, not just bass drums and a guitarist. All right, well, kind of makes sense to me, but I prefer to think of it as being on my boat. If I only had a boat and sipping whatever the favorite drink of the day is. Right, Rocko? Okay, we're already back here. We got to do our cruise through the fountain. Let's do a quick water break here though, buddy boy. All right? Water break. I'm gonna give you some water. Let's see how we're looking in here. Okay, Rocko, here. Sit, bud. Let's do some water. I can hear you in need of that water, man. Hang on, buddy. Oh yeah, we can take a break here, man. Why don't we just sit down on this thing for a minute? We'll chill out with a seat in the shade, man. Right by the pond. Rocko, Rocko, down. Yeah, good boy. Look at this guy. Look at this handsome guy. Yeah, and look at Rocko too. Ba-dum. Whew. All right, my turn. Before you start sipping this one, not that I wouldn't drink out of the same thing as my dog. Yeah, I'm not sure I would. Not the dog bowl, anyway. Ooh, the cold one's good, Rocko. You want some cold water, buddy? You already got a bug in your thing? All right. Maybe we're sitting on a bunch of bugs or something. I hear them buzzing in my ear. All right, we'll do one lap around this small little pond here where the fountain is, and then we will head them back. Take our pickleball court shelter break up there with some water, and then, gosh, then we got to get back because I got a couple webinars to attend to this afternoon. All right, let's grab the cam. Rocko, hey, buddy. Hey, you know what we could try here? Let's try this for a sec. Wait a sec. Let's try the no hands leash maneuver. All right, Rocko, come over here, buddy. Let's hook you up on, oh my God, what the heck? That was some strong water. Okay, Rocko, right here, buddy. Come here. All right, let's do this one. We're gonna do a hands-free, since I got the belt for a hands-free leash, because the end of it is sort of a bungee thing. Bam, 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 bam. It's a little too long, really. It's kind of right in that in-between stage where it's not a long line, but it's not a 6 foot. Depending on how much he's pulling, it turns into a 7 or 8 foot leash. So gives him a little more freedom, and me freedom to be hands-free. Right, Rocko? All right, let's just take a quick walk around the lake, big man, right? Right around the lake, dude. And lake may be too strong a term for this thing. It's more like a pond. But hey, if a pond has a fountain, I'm gonna call it a lake. Whew, all right. Good job. Yeah, Wimbledon, for a tennis player, it's like, it is a great time of year. I love Miami Open, the spring season on tour, when they leave the desert in California at Indian Wells, come back east, play the Miami Open before heading over to Europe for the clay court season, and then that leads up to the French Open. And then within 3 weeks, I think it's 3 weeks now. In the old days, it was like a 2-week turnaround between clay and grass, but now Wimbledon on grass, I think they have 3 weeks before that starts up. And so we're just a few days. Rocko, let's do a little quick thing over here. 3 days into Wimbledon, some pretty good matches already. And the GOAT, Novak Djokovic, taking out Stefanos Tsitsipas yesterday in straight sets. That matchup was like a semi or final from a few years ago when Tsitsipas was in the top 5. But he's been struggling to find his game lately, and Djokovic played amazing and took him out in straight sets. So, will this be the time Novak gets his 25th Grand Slam title? I'm pulling for him, but definitely has some tough competition ahead. But I have this feeling somebody is going to take out Jannik Sinner before we get to the, well, I think they're in the same half, before they would have to match up. Last year, Grigor Dimitrov had him up 2-0 before Grigor got injured. So that was a potential fall for Sinner. And then look what he did last year. Well, maybe somebody will take him out here before he plays Novak, or maybe he'll play Novak and Novak just takes him out. And the other top guy these days, Carlos Alcaraz, is out, coming back from his wrist injury. I did see some clips of him practicing yesterday, actually some with his opposite hand, left hand, as he rehabs his wrist. So, yeah, can you tell? I like talking tennis. I like financial services, but if I had my choice, if Tennis Channel calls and says, hey, we know you're in this financial industry or financial services and you talk about that a lot, but hey, would you like to come talk about tennis for us? What do you think? Would I turn that down? Let me think about that for a few days. Nah, you know my answer. But short of that, though, talking money, man, who doesn't like to talk about money, right? It is just a tool. Just a tool to use to really, when you dig deeper, like, why do I want money? Money? Because of all the things you can do with it. And not just buying stuff, but experiences, helping people, helping your family. Just a tool for those things. It's just you're trading those dollars, that value you've created to get those dollars for things you want to do or have. Just a tool. Yeah, we'll talk more about money being a tool and the way to think about that in other episodes. But that's the way, and I didn't always look at it that way. Yeah, that was probably a mistake not to do that. Gosh, if I only learned some of this stuff when I was in my 20s, it would be a whole different conversation now, wouldn't it? Yeah. But I'm exactly where I should be, right? God's got me exactly where I should be. So I'm going to be like Rocko and just be in the moment. All right, water break here by the pickleball courts. Yeah. Let's go, bud. Yeah, nobody in the dog park at this hour. Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. I can see it in the air. Summer's just coming to reach. I don't know, some kind of mashed up lyrics from an old Don Henley song. Oh, The Boys of Summer, I think that's what it was. I don't know why that popped into my head. All right, up. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of sniffing along the dog fence here. We're not going in there today. This is the actual fenced-in dog park where they can go off leash officially. But no other dogs there. Again, similar to pickleball. Too darn hot at this time of day in the Florida sun to let your dogs run around in there, although you could. But as long as you have plenty of water, give them rest. So we should probably start, hey, we need a plan to get out of bed when we say we're gonna get out of bed. Make the plan to get over here. That would be a plan. If I want Rocko to get some rep time with other dogs, well, that requires a plan. And part of that plan is to get out at a certain time, especially in the summertime in Florida. Then there will likely be other dogs in there. But in the meantime, we'll go back home, get some cold water, chill out. I'll hit my webinars and get ready for tomorrow. Hey, I'll put a plan together for tomorrow's outing. Yeah, in the meantime, put together yours. Or if you need some help with the plan, well, find some help. I know where you could look. We're gonna see how quiet the ride home is. Going to the park? Well, you heard how noisy that could be. Yeah, but now, he's got his water back there. We had a lot of water breaks along the way, but hey, walking around in a black fur coat in Florida, not recommended to do in summertime. But he's good. He's got this. But I'm gonna bet, if I were a betting man, and yeah, I don't really do online betting or any of that stuff, although sounds interesting. They sure advertise it a lot on the tennis channel. I guess because they're getting paid a lot to do so. DraftKings, I think it is. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation about betting on tennis. Anyway, I'm gonna bet Rocko is pretty darn quiet on the ride home, except for, well, you can probably hear him breathing heavy, but quiet in the sense that unless there's something unusual outside our car, he's probably not gonna bark those barks of excitement we heard coming over. So I think my ears are safe, but you never know. Sometimes randomly he'll get set off by somebody walking along the sidewalk, or usually it's somebody on a motorcycle. For some reason, the motorcycles, sometimes bicycles, but usually it's motorcycles. Maybe because the person has a helmet on and it looks weird. I don't know. Just speculating. Or if it looks like when we're in the actual neighborhood, if it looks like somebody's getting too close to the car, yeah, then barks, which, see? Rocko, why? The guy's on a sidewalk about 20 yards away from us, not even in our neighborhood. There's no chance that guy's coming to us, Rocko. But hey, nice protection mode. See, that's the thing with this guy. He's always on. Bred to protect, bred to chase, bred to herd. So he needs some downtime. And that's what he gets in the afternoon. A lot of nice downtime. Goes in his den, his kennel. Sometimes I just find him in there because he's already ready to chill out. But yeah, you ready for your resty there, Mr. Rocko? All right, well. So my little bet on it was going to be a quiet ride. Already didn't happen. See, that's the thing. You never know what's going to happen in the future. Just like you never know what's going to happen, not only in the stock market, but in the world. There's always something, right? Always something changing, always something new. I like to call it the crisis du jour. This is not a crisis by any means, just hurts my ears a little bit. But in the whole scheme of things, does any of it really matter to how I'm going to live my life day to day? I maintain, no, it's not. All right, we'll see you next time.